This hot chocolate's wonderful, thank you.
No problem. Yes. So you gotta do the intro.
I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you an anecdote long enough for me to look up and silently listen to an intro of a podcast? So you see, this one time, I was walking outside of a store when all of a sudden I ran into a guy. And the guy, he told me that from Beach City to Homeworld and all the cosmos in between, this is The Bits, a Steven Universe podcast.
Ah.
Nailed
Wonderful. If you weren't gonna do it, I was gonna go, hey Samuel. The Bits!
Welcome everybody to the aforementioned Bits, a Steven Universe podcast. I'm Sam.
I'm Jonathan, drinking tea.
Got you right in the middle of it. And this is just a podcast where we talk off the cuff about Steven Universe. We're going to be talking about Steven Bomb 8, which was a whopping 6 episodes this time.
Indeed.
If you're new to the podcast, the way this works, I do notes.
I don't.
And we do a quick summary of each episode, and then talk about our feelings around it.
Yeah.
You can check out our backlog of other stuff, or you can check out, if you don't particularly like Steven Universe, and you like us, or you like us and Steven Universe, and you want to hear us talk about other cartoons, check us out in a town called Duckburg, where we talk about the 2017 DuckTales.
And also, I'm planning to just put these on separate SoundClouds and stuff, and have a RS feed through those, so you can probably look forward to iTunes feeds and stuff.
That means one day you can listen to us on Podcast Addict app. Not sponsored by them, I just enjoy them.
Oh, that's a good app.
So, without further ado, got my notes pulled up in front of me. The episodes for this one, just make sure everyone's on the right page, are Dewy Wins, Gemcation, Raising the Barn. I don't know the name of that episode because I put a joke answer. Sadie Killer, and Kevin Party.
Did you call it Gemcation?
Yeah, Gemcation was the second one.
Oh, wait.
I don't know what it's called. I called it Back to the Lab again, but we'll get there.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to be doing some Googling this time around.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's get started.
Okay. So we're starting off with Dewy Wins.
Dewy Wins. Jonathan, cue that awkward intro.
The Bits!
Man, I never get tired of hearing that song. Alright. So, starting off Dewy Wins. Steven's back from Homeworld.
Yeah.
And he goes and he talks to Connie about how scary everything was, and Jonathan decided to be terribly unprofessional and not mute his phone for this podcast.
I apologize. All sorts of noises. Oh, gosh.
And so, after Jonathan silenced his cell phone, Connie realized she was hurt by that, but she was more hurt by the fact that Steven didn't let her help. She thought they were jam buds and Stefani and all these good partner things, and she felt a little bit betrayed. Steven could understand why, and she left on Lion. And that created not only an upset in Steven, but our driving subplot of our entire arc of the Steven Bomb. So, what did Steven do? He didn't go after her. He didn't try to find a way to track Lion. But he ran. Straight into a filler episode.
He ran so far away. Copyright strike.
Because it was such a pitch perfect rendition, we're going to get flagged. Watch this video while you can.
Good gosh.
Alright.
But, yeah, I don't know. I felt like this was a good start to the plot through line of these 6 episodes.
Oh, yeah. This one felt a lot stronger than Topaz and Aquamarine from Last Stephen Bomb, ominously looming like Cartoon Network aliens.
Indeed. Because, what'd you call it? I feel like a character feeling a certain feeling all throughout the 6 episodes is better than just, like, trying to shoehorn silhouettes into every episode.
Yeah. This one felt like where usually Stephen Bombs have faulted, in my opinion, that they don't feel like they can stand on their own as episodes. I feel like this one could work emotionally of like, okay, Stephen was going through stuff during this time period, but the episodes themselves are standalone adventures.
Indeed. A lot of the just like distance between Stephen and Connie throughout these episodes, especially within the first, because it really strikes home everything that changes and everything, and I felt like it was a big thing of Stephen thought he was going to come back and everything was going to be the same, but there's repercussions to his actions.
Oh, totally. My first note, the Stephen and Connie scene felt, for me, very reminiscent of in Teen Titans when Tara mysteriously came back and they never really explained in the cartoon. When she was in the school and Beast Boy was kind of stalking her. When she's in the hallway and she's like, I'm not who you think I am. I'm just a girl with a geometry test and I haven't studied. And then she like backs up and disappears in the faceless shadow people that are her fellow classmates. And it just felt very reminiscent of that scene, and I haven't had too much that reminds me of Teen Titans vibes in terms of storytelling. And I don't know if it's just because it's more prominent on the network now with them playing the old episodes, or if it's specifically because we're entering a new style of storytelling for the show. But overall, it felt like the similarities definitely represented a tone shift between this episode and the last one we saw.
Yeah. Although, I feel like what you call it. It connects very well, like going from the last Stephen Bomb to here, with what you call it, like everyone's feeling different emotions. Sadie's just like crushed that Lars is in space now. What do you call it? The townspeople are up in arms about like aliens were planning on inducting everybody, and Mayor Dewey didn't do anything about it.
And that launched our filler episode plot. Gunga's going to war.
Yeah. Not the person I thought would be running against Mayor Dewey, but yeah.
I thought if anything it would be what's his name? Fryman.
Maybe I could see that.
I don't know why, but out of the 24 people that live in Beach City, according to Mayor Dewey, I feel like he and the pizza shop owner, whose name I forget, I felt like those two would be the ones to run for mayor.
Well, what you call it? They control the only food sources within.
You're right. Too much power. So Gunga has decided that she's mad about all the people getting abducted by aliens in the last Stephen Bomb. See, we're all mad about the last Stephen Bomb. And so she's running for mayor. And she has the lovely chant, when I say, do we want Dewey, you say no.
Gosh.
And all I could think there was, wow, Gunga is having second thoughts about the DuckTales reboot too.
It reminds me of the WWE's reaction to Roman Reigns, and how fans would try to like root for him, and then people would shut him down like, we love Roman.
No, we don't.
We love Roman. No, we don't. And just shutting the whole notion that we'd ever like this person.
That's... Well, anyway, stuff goes down. Dewey has to accept the fact he's useless. And we have a new mayor.
Yeah. And it felt very somber than the ending of this one. It's just like, yeah, Dewey lost, and Steven has to realize, like, yeah, you can't make decisions and expect everyone to agree with them or not take action.
It was interesting because Dewey's character in this one. Oh, excuse me. Can I talk about an Adult Swim show and not have anything?
Do a disclaimer first.
Okay. Disclaimer. This is going to be the show Moral Oral on Adult Swim back in like the early 2000s. I'm not going to go into anything raunchy or anything, but spoiler alert for that. And if you're watching on YouTube, we'll put a time frame when I'm done talking about this if you just want to stick general audiences, even though there shouldn't be anything too inappropriate. Throughout the series Moral Oral, his dad had a dead-end job that he constantly referred to and hated. And in, I believe, season 3, you found out that he was the mayor of the town. Oral's he's wanting to get something banned from the town, and he's told he has to go talk to the mayor, so he gets to the mayor's office, and he's like, "Mr. Mayor, I need to talk to you." And then the chair spins around, and it's his dad, and he's like, "Dad, I had no idea you were the mayor." And he's like, "Yeah, stupid dead-end job," and he just kind of sags sad on his desk. And you find out that he just hates being the mayor, but he does it because it's the only thing that he's capable of doing in the town.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like with Dewey. It was like, I'm mayor for the sake of being mayor. I'm not exactly good or bad at it, but I get by.
What do you call it? And it seems like he's only mayor because no one else was just like, "Hey, we need a mayor." He was just like, "Hey, we need a mayor." And everyone's just like, yeah?
It's high school all over again.
Exactly.
Mayor Dewey proclaimed he declared himself the president of the mayor of high school. Which my only thought was, what would his responsibilities be if he actually had any? And then how would that work? Like, is he higher than the class presidents? Or because if it's a high school, like, typical one, there'd be 4 of them. Mm-hmm. So is it, like, 4 presidents and the mayor?
I want to imagine he just like, "I'm the mayor of this high school," and I think, just like, did we do an election for that?
You know, he walked around with a sash that he made.
Gosh,
like it had like iron-on letters. It just said mayor.
Yeah, but Dewey's always been, what'd you call it, stock corrupt politician character within the series.
Now he's stock pathetic corrupt politician character.
Yeah, but I feel like it's real life repercussions for his actions. It's just like, you can't do anything as mayor for too long, or people start to get mad about it.
Yeah, the whole thing was just kind of funny that. Like, all these characters you don't really think about too often in the grand scheme of Steven Universe. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, they've got lives in the background. Yeah. And I feel like this is the Crewniverse taking a step toward addressing that fact that life goes on without Steven.
Exactly.
And that's what the whole bomb felt a lot like.
Yeah.
Going back to that sash idea, though. Do you think you'd just be mayor of anything if you declare it loud enough?
Yeah.
If I go into, like, Wendy's... Like, if we go to eat after this, if I have a sash on at Wendy's, can I be mayor of Wendy's?
I don't think they can stop you.
Yeah, like, how far can this power go?
Gosh.
Somebody send the channel just a sash that says mayor, please. I don't need a top hat and a monocle. I won't go that far, but I want to be mayor of anything.
Mayor of anything. That's the title.
You know what? Yeah. Right now, on record, I am declaring myself the mayor of anything. Not everything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything is wonderful because it's just like, are you mayor of this? I could be.
Yeah, the only time will tell. I could be mayor of your watch. I could be mayor of the sun. I could be mayor of a couple things at the same time that I'm not entirely sure what they are.
Gosh.
But I am mayor of anything. I'm declaring it here first. If you don't like it, run against me. Speaking of running against, I totally agree with Gunga's reason for going up against Mayor Dewy.
And what exactly?
That she's just like, yeah, he didn't do anything against the alien invasion. Like, that's a little much. Like, he's just a dude. But when he's just like, yeah, I totally didn't. And then he's just like upset because the people are upset. And then he thinks they're upset because there's no one working at Big Donut. And they're more upset that Lars could be dead.
Yeah.
Like, he shows a genuine disconnect from people. And I feel like Gunga was right in saying we need to get a mayor who doesn't necessarily fix everything, but just acts and gets stuff together and works with people.
Yeah.
And as a community. And we won't even talk about what sort of allegories the Crewniverse is trying to make about modern politics.
Yeah.
We're going to skip that entirely.
That's fair. That can be rough on the general audience.
Agreed.
So, are you clear on this episode? Any final thoughts?
Ironically, we covered both DuckTales and Steven Universe. And Kate McCushy plays both Sadie and Webby.
Ah.
And she was very present in this Stephen Baum and previous. And she's getting more singing, which is nice. But it's weird, we don't see it in DuckTales. But I wonder if it's just a difference in character.
Oh, yeah. I'm also saying, as a sidebar to that, we will be doing the rest of the DuckTales episodes.
Oh yeah, totally.
They're just coming out way too fast for us to actually act.
They're on like 9 now, man.
Exactly. Who does this regular release schedule in this modern time of cartoons?
We're grown men talking about cartoons on the internet. We can't be expected to keep up.
Exactly. It took 2 weeks or a month for a Gravity Falls episode.
Jokes aside, the second episode of the DuckTales podcast did come out, because I saw a handful of people saw it, our usual viewers. We had some syncing issues that we're going to fix and then re-release it. So that's just been unlisted.
Yes,
so the next one that comes out, if you've already seen the second one, it's going to be a re-release of that. So I don't think our schedule's weird or anything. But after that, it's going to be back to new content.
Exactly.
So now that we got that out of the way, one of my gripes with this episode, and I didn't have many at all, some of the foreground art looked a little cheap. When Mayor Dewy, when they're doing their speeches, Gunga, when she's talking at her podium, looked normal. And like, at one point she holds her hands up in the air and all I could think of was Goku. But her interacting with it and the microphone looked alright. Mayor Dewey's looked like it was photoshopped in front of him. And Jonathan, if you could put up a screenshot here for the YouTube viewers.
Okay. I
apologize for the audio audience. I won't do this often. But it looks weird. Like, it looks like it was drawn on different layers of an animation. Like, old school cell animation.
I will say that this what you call it, Stephen Baum was very much more compressed. Just because like, usually we get like at least like 13-minute episodes. All of them ran this time like 10 to 11.
Yeah. And I feel like that was because we did get the additional episodes. It was like, this story doesn't need to be as you said, compressed. We can kind of get a little looser with it. And I felt like they avoided a lot of the front loading with it. When Steven has his conversation with Mayor Dewy, he doesn't immediately come out and like state the obvious moral of like, you can't just expect people to be okay with what you're we've run into that in the past, but this time he starts the conversation and reached that point, and it felt like, and I don't want to get too psychology heavy here, but it felt like a natural development of how the mind works and how he reached a self-realization by communicating a third-party problem. And it's just like, yes, that feels very organic and nice.
I like it more this way just because, like, you can see him, like, learning through, like, failing to get what he wanted out of this election. Just like, I want Mayor Dewey back as mayor, and just like, no, you can't have that because this reason. And just like, right. Oh, I realize what I actually did wrong reflecting on this situation.
Yeah. And it's a style of storytelling that I'm liking a lot. And it's a trend I'm starting to see in cartoons. It hasn't hit real big yet, but where actions in random wacky situations suddenly have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Not of like, you shot this man so he's gonna stay dead in the next episode kind of thing, but like
it can be great for comedic purposes.
Mayor Dewey doesn't get reelected because he's been a bad mayor in the past. That character type caught up to him. BoJack Horseman, the Netflix series, has a bit where in one episode someone steals the D on the Hollywood sign and it never gets returned at the end of the episode, so it just stays missing. And for the rest of the series, the sign says Holly Woo, and everyone in the show refers to it as Holly Woo because that's what the sign says. And it's those nice, very small changes. Just like, yeah, of course, this is how the world would react. Yeah, everybody changes in accordance to this change.
Yeah.
And it feels like a very accountable cartoon. Just like, yes, we realize that what we're doing has consequences. And yes, aliens are kidnapping people. And yes, that's going to matter to the townspeople.
Oh, yeah. And what you call it? I kind of wish that stuff like this would have come up earlier, like when gosh, the gym ship came in the first time with Jasper and Peridot.
Yeah,
and everyone drove off and everything. I felt like that would have been a great opportunity to just like punch that in right there. Just like, hey, we're actually afraid of these issues.
Well, we kind of got it in a way. I don't want to talk about Ronaldo. Ronaldo suddenly being afraid of crystal gems and thinking they were rock lizard people.
Yeah.
That was weird. That wasn't a good episode. But I feel like a big reason we didn't get it prior... You're lucky. That was a bad episode.
Good gosh.
Anyway, I feel like a reason that we didn't see it earlier isn't just like a lack of foresight or thought on the creator part, but that the fact that it only affected the crystal gems. Beach City people saw it and were scared, but the day was saved, so they had no reason to worry. But later on, when it's people in the town disappearing, it's not just their problem anymore, it's our problem. We have to be accountable for it.
Yeah.
That's when you get more of the town's opinion and their fears coming out, because it's no longer something that they can ignore because it's affecting them.
And gosh darn, as we go further into these episodes, you see that reflection on everyone.
Oh, big time. There's a lot of great self-reflection in this. My last note for this one: what the heck is a city welcome mat? Mayor Dewey, as he's leaving, says the key to the city is under the city welcome mat.
Yeah, I remember. As he sadly slumped away. What you call it? I just imagined it as a giant rug in front of Beach City, because that's what Mayor Dewey spends Beach City tax dollars on.
And writers to come up with their rival town's insult jokes. What is it? Ocean City?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to do wrap-ups for this? Want to go to the next one?
Yeah. What did you call it? Again, I feel like content of this episode was light, but it completed the purpose that it wanted to.
Oh yeah. All in all, not my favorite episode, but it's also not my least favorite that I've seen. It was very simple and easily digested, and it was a great way to get Steven some character development in a natural way that only slightly got off track from the main problem of trying to get to Connie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a much stronger first episode for Steven Baum than we've had in the last few. For those of you new to the podcast, I do ratings. Jonathan does not.
Indeed.
I give this one 3.5 out of 5. So a little better than average. But overall, it just seemed kind of basic.
Yeah.
Especially compared to what we get later on. But we'll get to that.
So, we moving on to Gemcation now.
Say the weird thing.
The bits. Wait. was the bits not the weird thing? The bits.
Gemcation.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
Yes.
tell me what happened in Gemcation.
Did you call it? Dad Universe. What'd you call it? Greg. And
If you want to click off now, I completely understand. With this terrible unprofessionalism as I sit here and judge you while texting.
gosh. Jeez. But, yeah, Greg feels like Steven's on edge from coming back from Homeworld and everything. So him and the Gems go on vacation and onto a party lake house? Is it a lake house or is it just a cabin?
I thought it was just a cabin. I don't remember any lakes.
I think they kind of announced it as a lake house. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was a ranch. Because the ranch itself was called Cool Ranch.
Ah, cool. Yeah. So, yeah, they go there. Steven's stuck in his phone. And Greg and the Gems try to figure out why.
Like a millennial.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But it takes the problem and actually dissects it from the young person's perspective.
There are no friends in that phone. He's just obsessed with technology.
Yeah.
He's not upset with his friends. He's upset with the phone.
Yeah, so, what you call it? I like the fact that it goes into, what you call it? Everyone's just like, oh, it's because he's upset about what do you call it? Homeworld. And
he's upset about being abducted by aliens for a war crime.
Yeah, but everyone's just like yeah, he's really sad and he just wants to look at his phone now. There's no particular reason he would be looking at his phone other than just being upset, and nobody actually ask him like, hey, what's wrong? It's always just like, hey, let me try to solve the problem without knowing what the problem is.
Hey, put down your phone and enjoy nature.
Yeah.
And people around you.
Indeed.
Stop tweeting on Facebook.
Good gosh. You can throw in your what you call it? You're checking your bank account to see if you can eat story here.
Okay. One time I was at the mall, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And this isn't the cause of my dislike of that mindset of millennials are terrible because of technology. But I was at the mall and looking for, I believe, a gift for some occasion or another. And I bought the gift, and then at the time, I was a little low on cash. And I was thinking, I need to go on my phone and check my bank and make sure I have enough money to get something to eat. Because I didn't want to overdraw and have all that adult stuff hit me. So I'm checking my bank, and I'm sitting there typing in my login information. And a guy walks up to me, or past me, and he just goes, "Age of the Zombie." And I just looked at him like, checking to see if I can afford to eat. And he just, like, was so smug about the way he said it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm not... I get it, I'm walking around with my head in my phone, but that's because I'm trying to get to the food court and trying to see if I can afford to do anything once I'm there.
Exactly. And I feel like it's a disconnect of just like, hey, there's things within this device. I'm not just staring at it.
I think they did a good job of pointing that out. And it was interesting because we knew, as the audience, what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the outside... world outside of Steven didn't. And it was almost a situation of like a dramatic irony that all the people that were trying to help him were helping him for the wrong reason, but we knew what was up.
Exactly.
And
also friggin' him cutting off Garnet in that epic monologue she's about to start.
Oh man, tell me about it.
What did you call it? Friggin' the whole like the whole, like, scene picture and everything, and Garnet puts on her dramatic voice. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, yeah, I know. And just like, oh, so you do.
The flashbacks are amazing.
Yeah.
Also, who is that little gem that was sitting next to them that looked kind of like a square peridot in the flashback? Had a nervous face.
Did we ever get introduced to a gem like that?
I don't think so. I think it's a teaser of things to come, but I was just like, who that?
Yeah.
I want to know who that is. Going through my notes, and I just do them. The way my notes work, I just write them as I'm watching the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of stopping and starting. I'm terrible to watch Steven Universe with. I liked watching Greg fight the hoses at the beginning.
Yes.
Where he's just like, fight that hose, Greg. Fight it until the scene is sufficiently stolen.
Gosh.
He's just chewing the scenery so hard, taking out everything.
Friggin'
Steven's lamenting over here. Greg's like, no, watch my funny antics, though.
I was watching it with Hunter, and what you call it, friggin' Hunter just goes like, did Steven just chomp through that hose with his bare teeth?
It was, again, very Goku. Like, that's all I was thinking was like, there's that Dragon Ball influence. Bite the enemy.
Goku, pretend it's a cheeseburger.
I love it so much. Another part I liked, where Steven bit through the hose, and I thought this was really cool, where after he realizes he destroyed his dad's hose, he's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, please don't hate me.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, Steven's having some psychological trauma here.
Exactly. And what did you call it? It's continuing off that, just like, Connie hates him. Now he's hoping that, like, every action isn't that detrimental to his life.
Yeah, it was really sad, too. It was like, I can tell this is going to be, like, a theme throughout this, like, Steven Bomb, and I'm already sad. Mm. And then we get the reveal, which Greg steals the scene once again, where he says, it's okay. I've got, like, $9 million left. It's like, what else do I spend it on other than houses?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Greg's a millionaire again. Put that back on the plot board.
You know, I've never done it. I see something horribly bad happen, and just like I go like, well, take 1 million off. He's still rich though.
Like, I don't know. At the end, when they stopped doing rich Greg bits, I thought they were for sure saying like, "Yep, his money's gone now. We're gonna go back to normal." And then just like throwing out like, "I've still got like $9 million." Like, you say it so casually, Greg.
Yeah.
Can we talk about a small loan? One that doesn't get reimbursed.
Exactly. It's wonderful though. It allows them to like go on like more extravagant adventures and things.
Oh yeah. So the whole time Steven's waiting for Connie to text. He's getting texts from the worst character on the show.
And
I've just got written in my notes like 3 or 4 times. Once again, Ronaldo gets in the way.
But it's a very real feeling of what you call it, waiting from text from somebody after you say something and you're just like, I hope this works, I hope this works, I hope this works, and then you get that message back and it's just like, it's from the one person you don't want to talk to right now.
But his texts were like, okay, one of his texts after he spoiled the series he was talking to Steven about, he says, sorry that's a spoiler, but it's like one of those spoilers that makes it better if you already know, ? That statement doesn't exist. You spoiled a thing and thought about asking about it later. You're the worst kind of person.
Gosh. Yeah. Like, honestly, like, whenever the text would come up, I'm just like, oh my gosh, just get this off the screen right now.
I just kept writing go away Ronaldo, and Ronaldo gets in the way of actual plot again.
Yeah.
Every time Steven Universe dedicates time to Ronaldo, there is time in the universe being wasted.
Gosh. I feel like they're flaunting it now and just like, yeah, everyone hates Ronaldo. Let's just go with it.
No. So anyway, Distress Steven, before they go to Cool Ranch, is kind of lamenting. And there's a cool visual gag I really liked where he's washing the dishes, but he's using the bottle as soap.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, that's so good.
Yeah.
It's like, you get those moments where you're just like, I feel dead inside.
Exactly.
And I'm just going to sit here and do something productive. But then since you're so messed up, you're not actually washing, you're just rubbing soap bottle on it. It was so good.
Yeah, I watched that movie and I was just like, good bit.
So, the Gems and Greg come in and they tell Steven, you should go on vacation and we should all come and be there and have fun. And they do awkward, like, line reading.
Yeah, although, what did you call it? I felt like, even though it's awkward line reading, it felt like a very, very... Sammy, did you drop something?
I dropped my phone on the floor. Keep talking.
Okay.
You went between your couch.
Gosh. But, yeah.
Derailing. Derailing the episode and proving a point in the moment.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah. I felt like even if there were awkward lines, there were just, like, it felt kind of like just static version of what the Gems usually say. So I was just like, I don't know about this. Even Garnet, like, misinterpreting what she needs to do in the situation felt kind of like flat for me. I was like,
Look at Steven. Nod. Agree with Amethyst.
With more enthusiasm.
Like, too much.
Yeah, it's like, as a whole, it's good, but I felt like it could have, being away from the gym so long, it just feels like they're flat characters now.
Who wrote that joke? You're in trouble. Somebody tell me who wrote that joke.
Don't do that.
As the mayor of anything, I'm now the mayor of putting the person who wrote that joke in trouble.
Okay, gosh, don't. A lesson to the internet as a whole: don't put individual writers and things on blast, unless they're just a horrible person, like, between the show that they're on. Just don't do that, because if they're a novice writer or something, everyone makes mistakes.
Nope. Except that guy, or girl. They're in trouble.
Wonderful.
So says the mayor of anything. Don't actually go after him, but, like, let me know who they are.
No.
Mayor of anything will take care of it.
Good gosh.
Speaking of that moment,
Yeah.
Amethyst did a weird thing with an egg.
Oh, yeah.
That felt like it was going on some gross side I don't understand, but I was just like, why did we stop the episode for this?
Even Steven was grossed out.
Just like, it's an egg. It's
They're farm fresh.
like, I don't know what that was for. That was for something. Or somebody. But I don't understand why.
It was for nobody and no one.
Somebody chose to put that there. And make her say that. And I don't get it.
Yeah.
and we wasted like 5 seconds on it.
Gosh. Oh, I want that line for you to be at least like $20 or something. I want the voice actors to be like actually well paid for that one line, just because that was
Maybe it's a reference I don't understand, or like a fan nod. I don't know.
I don't want to know what it's nodding to.
My next note, and I'm not sure what it refers to. This happens a lot on this podcast. Welcome.
Yeah.
It says, "Darn it, Garnet, you're smashing the bread, please." All in caps. And there was a point where she, in this episode, had groceries and was like smacking them with her fists. And then I only bring it up because later on, when they do terrible line reading again, I wrote, "Darn it, Garnet, you're smashing the roll, please." So, I don't know what that really connects to, but it's there. One thing we find out that was before Greg was rich, he just broke into people's houses.
Yeah. It's a big turn from just twisting on door knobs and hoping one opens.
Like, Greg just breaks into people's houses.
Well, oh my gosh, what's Onion Lady's name?
Videl? Or, not Videl, Vidalia.
Yeah.
Videl's Dragon Ball again. I'm thinking about Dragon Ball Z, if that's not clear.
So are the Steven Universe creators and writers, occasionally.
So anyway, back to Videl.
Yeah. I guess after he gets kicked out of there, he had to do something.
So we're going back to like early 2000s, late 90s Greg.
Yeah.
And he's just like wandering around breaking people's houses. I like it. So when they get to the vacation home finally, it's called Cool Ranch. So I can only assume that the mountain landscape behind them is called Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Did we ever find out what happened to Party Dude? Because I feel like my
party guy was the best.
Yeah, friggin' we saw him once when he was announced, and I feel like I did I miss something?
Pearl
or did
got
he just
bit by a snake, and that was where the joke ended.
Okay.
Which is just like when they're at the time skip and she's sitting there crying in the corner. It's like, we're gems. Like she's gonna be fine. Like, it's the emotional pain. She's like, okay, Pearl. But I like Party Guy. Party Guy was cool.
Yeah.
So, the gems are trying to take care of Steven.
Mm-hmm.
And Garnet's in the hot tub with Greg. And this line stuck with me just because it was something that Estelle had to say was when Greg's like, I gotta get out of here, I'm becoming a raisin. She says, Steven, you should join me. Become a raisin.
Yes. That was a good line. That was a good,
I was
good
like,
Garnet line.
That's good Garnet read.
Yeah.
Like, I was really happy with that one.
I wasn't happy with bad line reading Garnet, but I was happy with that.
Well, it brought back her like sage like character quality. In this episode, Garnet felt like she was weirdly lacking insight on people. Like, I wonder if all the effort to allow Steven to come to terms like with his own stuff, like if that was intentional. Because like, you know, she has future vision.
Yeah.
So did she maybe, because you know Sapphire was trying to work on not being emotionally detached and getting to let people process their feelings, and Ruby was trying not to process so much. So I wonder if Garnet was trying to let Steven naturally get through his pain rather than tell him, like, Connie's gonna call in 2 days, but you're not getting reception right now, so you don't have any way to talk to her.
Oh no. I will say two things. One, she can't actually predict the future. She can predict all the variations of the future, so she doesn't know which one.
Right,
yeah.
But at the same time, she knows she's wrong. Because in the future, they figure out what the actual Steven problem is.
Yeah.
It may be different in each future, but it's not like multiverse theory where there's different Stevens. It's the same Steven just being reacted on by different stimuli. He's still already upset with because of Connie because it already happened in the past.
I don't know. What did you call it?
As we saw explained in the episode where she discusses her future vision and grants it to Steven. It doesn't give you, like, this is anything that could happen ever. It gives you, this is the multiple paths from the path you're on. And Steven had already been upset by Connie.
Yeah.
So that path was already linear.
I saw it as, what you call it, that you could see the path in which she possibly finds out what Steven's sad about. In just the other two paths, you don't get any information.
Right. But at the same time, she still has that path, which is knowledge, as opposed to awkwardly reading lines and trying to figure out what's up. Like,
my second thing is future sight was not taken into account in this episode.
No, not at all.
What'd you call it? I sat there and I was just like, future sight? Because I really thought about it. And I was just like, yeah, they're not using it in this episode.
I think it can be justified, though, with the Ruby and Sapphire thing of Garnet was aware of the end, but was awkwardly going along because she's not used to being present. And that could even justify, like, the weird line reading, now that I think about it, because she's not used to actively trying to be in the situation because she already knows the end, but because she wants Steven to be able to have the natural emotional development and process his feelings appropriately. It's like, I'll just stick to the script, which I'm not used to reading. So I'm going to read this terribly.
See? But then what's the use of, like, breaking into that monologue or doing all the other things that she did?
Because she was set up to do them with future vision. Like, the way I see it, just as justification, not as, like, how it happened, more like just theory.
Yeah.
Because Garnet's working on being emotionally stable herself, she was just like, I'm going to let Steven do this. Which means I got to be a little awkward. I felt like the past thing, like where she got all into the flashback, was because she was like, oh, this is the part where I tell Steven about this thing, and I'm confident I know about this thing, so I'm going to tell Steven like I always do, and that'll cheer him up and he'll be happy. So I feel like it got caught up in the familiar of like, I can't do emotion development, but I can do this. I can deliver that exposition flashback.
Yeah. Although, thinking back on it, what'd you call it? Garnet's not too this detached from, like, what humans do.
Right.
I'm talking, like, separately from this whole discussion of future sight and everything.
Yeah.
Just because I felt like, I don't know, this one kind of, like, distanced a lot of the gems way farther than they usually are.
Oh, I agree. It was unnatural and weird. I'm just trying to justify it as, like, there's seeds of characters with Ruby and Sapphire that can make this work if we think about it hard enough.
Oh, yeah.
But just watching it was weird. Half my notes is, this is weird.
Yeah.
At one point, they had, like, weird backgrounds where the backgrounds were disproportionate again. And I know everyone freaked out about Peridot's hair being weird sizes.
Oh,
but
there's more.
They had a giant barrel on the porch. Like, they had a rocking chair, and then next to it was just this huge barrel. Yeah. And I was just like, is Donkey Kong in that thing? That thing's massive.
Good gosh.
And it just looked weird and took me out of it for a minute. But I don't want to complain too much because Crewniverse has gotten enough stuff about.
Oh, yeah. What did you call it? The amount of just, like, animation complaints in like episodes from here and there, just like can fill a book, and that's why I just choose to just like, yeah, it's there.
Steven Universe art book now available
with 1 page per deck.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, though, like, then we got to see when Greg figured out what was up, and, like, Steven was upset, and he's like, Steven, you don't have reception. And then immediately Steven's like, we need to go. Greg was all for it because he was concerned about his son.
Yeah.
And I really felt for Greg in this one as, like, concerned parent because he was just like, I need to cheer my son up. And I don't know about space stuff, but I can give him a place away from everything, let him decompress, and let him just feel like he's in a place with people that love him. And then when he figures out it's something else, he's like, okay, something else, let's go.
Yeah, what did you call it? One on that I thought it was really cool that he was just like, I can't handle the space stuff, but you need to tell me the space stuff if it's messing with Steven.
Yeah.
And what you call it? 2 freaking Heartbreak King. He was just like, yeah, it's girl problems. I've been there.
Poor Greg. Another good line from Steven was the reveal when he finally tells them he's not upset. When he said, I'm not upset about what happened on Homeworld. Though, yeah, a lot of that was messed up.
Yeah.
That got me big time.
Mm.
So anyway, they were racing to get reception for Steven because the big reveal was he just didn't have cell service.
Yeah.
And then he gets to the top of a cliff, which props to Greg, where he's just like, I'll drive as far on this cliff as that I'm allowed to do by the laws of physics before we die.
Exactly. He's just going like, buddy, we're running out of room. I'm about to run off a cliff.
And then we get the big reveal of another text from Ronaldo.
Yeah.
To which I just wrote, It does enough H's. I hate Ronaldo.
But it's a good lesson of just like, hey, let people have their space and just kind of continue on, and they'll come back.
Can Steven just reply to Ronaldo, not now though? Please.
Yeah, that'd help.
Like, or just the automatic notification of like, I'm away from my phone, I'll reply to you at this time or whatever. Like, Ronaldo was just annoying. Gosh. But anyway, I feel like we got a lot of sweet stuff from Greg on this one, and we got a lot of emotional processing from Steven, all weird gems aside. The Cool Ranch and Mountain Dew joke was my best joke for this episode. You want to do wrap-ups?
Yeah. What you call it? Gems written weird. What you call it? The sentiment of the episode was nice. I like it how they carried Steven's kind of like I'm not sure about the situation attitude over. Yeah.
It felt like a solid episode. Weirdly, it felt like it was longer than it was, but not in a bad way. Like, there are some shows that they just have those episodes that feel like they're an hour long. But this one is just like, this felt like it was like 30 minutes.
Good pace.
But not in a bad way. It was good pacing. I felt like the character development had a greater depth than we see often between, like, Steven and Greg. Not so much from the gems. And it really felt like it was motivating and driving the rest of the Steven bomb in a very clear direction. And it felt like the characters that were getting development were being developed in a way that would improve the character throughout the story, not just be like an episode wipe where, okay, I learned this lesson, I'll go back to the next week when I don't know it anymore. But overall, it was a good episode. I think I gave it 4.5 out of 5. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
That's... So, this episode is... What did you call it? Freaking...
Raising the Barn.
Yeah.
Guess what they do in this episode?
Freaking Lapis raises the barn. Right into the sky. So yeah, we see what the Fallout does to Lapis and Peridot.
Lapis gets scared.
Yeah. And we see Peridot being nervous about leaving getting up and leaving everything.
But talk to her about your feelings, though.
Exactly.
But no, though. Why not, though? Because we got a 9-minute runtime and we're 2 minutes in, though.
See, I thought it'd go way darker than that. Just like, hey, we basically imprisoned Lapis. I feel like I owe her something, then.
I don't know. I don't think we'll get that from Lapis just because it's something that too much of the fan base might relate to, of like PTSD or like traumatic situations.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the writers will touch that one.
I feel like they touch on it, what you call it. Lapis doesn't want to be caught up in the situation she was again. She doesn't want to be thrown back in the mirror. She doesn't want to be in the crossfire of two factions.
Or trapped underwater in the ocean.
Yeah.
But just in terms of darkness, I don't think they'll go there.
Oh, yeah.
We got a song in this one. For a minute. Then we got a phone call.
What she call it? Freaking...
Steven.
Wait.
He started a little bit of a song. And then there was a phone call. And I wrote, I swear if this is Ronaldo, I'm making Jonathan review this episode by himself.
Gosh.
It wasn't Ronaldo. It was Peridot and Lapis.
Yes.
And what did they say, Jonathan?
What'd you call it? I love Peridot's line on this. Just like, see, I told you to pick up, and he was just ignoring us for the past 3 days. And I was just like, yeah, that's good. And just Steven's face is a great reaction to it. Just like, oh, sorry. But it's a great circle. That's Steven explained the whole situation, what happened on Homeworld, and how he escaped. Lapis goes like, what? you were put on trial, and you escaped? We gotta go.
She's ready to run out.
Yeah.
And so she says they're gonna lift up the barn and leave. But Peridot asks about all this stuff.
We'll take it with us.
And that's literally the answer to everything.
Yeah.
But we're only on season 4 of our show. We'll take the TV with us. But what are we gonna watch it on? We'll take the VCR with us. But where are we going? I'm taking the barn.
Yeah.
And she lifts it up. Then Pumpkin gets scared. She drops the barn. And I thought she crushed Pumpkin. I thought it was going to be the thing where Pumpkin got crushed. And she was going to be like, oh no, my irrationality caught up and hurt something I love. But no, we're good. He ran off. And they went to go find him.
See, I thought it'd be a thing of Peridot knows where Pumpkin is all along.
I thought we'd get the same fake out.
Yeah. Because if you can kind of just tell from the start and just like, oh yeah, Peridot's not cool with this.
Yeah. It was weird. They go looking. They come up on a stand. It's Onion's onion.
Yeah.
I was afraid because I don't like onion. I said, oh crap, here comes Onion. And then Peridot said something about how Pumpkin wouldn't relate with, I think it was a certain type of vegetable. And I just said, Pumpkin's racist. And Onion popped in. I said, oh crap, here's Onion. But they end up finding Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Peridot gets the strength to talk to Lapis.
Indeed.
And I don't know.
Pumpkin doesn't want to go.
Yeah. And Pumpkin represents me. And the barn represents you because you put up a front too, but you're being lifted away. And the broken pipes represent our broken friendship. And there's so many things in this episode that represent my feelings about other things.
Indeed.
This episode was a little bit ham-fisted.
That's fair. Although, what you call it, I felt like it was something that needed to happen. Just, like, if they're going to have a divide, I'd rather them just go like, hey, what you call it? No, this is not a thing where we find a compromise on this. No, I don't want to be caught up in this situation again. And I felt that was very true to Lapis's character.
Oh, yeah. I felt like the ham-fistedness worked for these two It wouldn't work for the other two. For that point that I said, do you want to discuss? And you said skip.
Yeah.
For that reason, I think it worked. Like, just because it would work as a coping mechanism. But I think overall, if this episode had been between any other two characters, it wouldn't have worked as well. But because our barn girls were a little awkward, it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to say about this one. Jonathan?
Yeah, there's a lot to envelop on, Peridot doesn't really know how to express herself. Lapis kind of has possessive side to just like, yeah, like if I go, you're all gonna go with me, right? It's like, no.
Yeah. And Pumpkin's afraid of everything.
Yes. What do you think?
Well,
Just Pumpkin feels like an analog. Just like, hey, I like being loved. I don't like being pulled around.
yeah. I was afraid she was going to break his vine when she was pulling his tail.
Oh, yeah.
Made me sad. But he was fine. He was fine. But not like the app, because the app's gone. His vine was fine.
Indeed.
Unlike Vine.
Indeed. But, yeah, that's just the short of it, just finally expressing your feelings, whether you're scared or not, just talking out. And I feel like that's a good lesson to present within this episode and just in general.
Yeah. I mean, I see the necessity of this episode, because it's like, yeah, sometimes people aren't ready to talk about stuff, and sometimes those emotional development connections don't always come so easily. But I feel like, again, if it weren't these two characters, it wouldn't work. But I think it served its purpose to kind of say, hey, sometimes talking stuff out's hard, and if you need that extra push or that extra thing to help you out, go for it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this is our episode for me. Is very straightforward in the point that it was making.
Yeah. I said there wasn't much to talk about on this one. Felt a little bit like a less subtle version of Gemcation, or the end of Dewy Wins. Definitely a hard act to follow, Gemcation, but this episode did serve as an opportunity for contrast, demonstrating how talking about your feelings doesn't always resolve them, and some people can still be consumed by their past and their problems. Even after a solution seems like it's imminent, unless it's there, people can still struggle. And I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
And I like this type of these types of lessons. Like I said before, when we were discussing Dewy Wins, where just like not everything the main characters do are going to result in a positive. They all have different motivations on why they're there and why they do things they do, and those things are going to conflict sometimes, and there's going to be some falling out between two characters if a controversial opinion is made.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Agreed. It's a good different type of conflict that we're not used to.
Yeah. And so, yeah. What's written? What's the score?
Once again, I gave a 3.5 out of 5. You know what we are used to, though?
What?
Jonathan giving a weird transition.
That's...
I called this episode Back to the Lab Again. I don't know why. I was getting tired at this point, and there were 3 more. So, Jonathan, what's this episode actually called?
It is actually called Back to the Kindergarten.
Cool.
That's pretty close to your one.
I was just thinking about Dexter's Lab because Peridot makes me think of Dexter.
Indeed. I have that whole entire rap album of Dexter.
So, speaking of things that are sad, Peridot's sad.
Yeah?
She's alone.
And she's listening to her full album of country, or that one country instrumental on loop.
She's held up in Steven's bathroom because the barn is gone.
And we get more Steven can't use the bathroom jokes.
We also got a weird scene of Steven cleaning his ears, but he doesn't have an inner ear.
Yeah.
So we just got an up-close shot of Steven rubbing a Q-tip around just the blank space that is his ear.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Gosh. Although I can't say, like, if we saw the inner workings of his ear, it would look any better, because it's too detailed for the art.
Maybe just not do close-ups of people cleaning their ears. Bold concept.
Yeah.
Just thought.
Yeah.
So, in this episode, they go back to the kindergarten. Amethyst is meeting with all her friends, Holes, and Peridot says, hey, here's how you can read who is in each of these little birthing areas. And explains, like, iron deposits and everything. And they come across a flower that has the same colors as Rebecca, Lupin III's wife.
Gosh.
And they decide, hey, Peridot likes farming. Let's have her grow flowers here in the destroyed rubble of a kindergarten. And so they did.
Yep. And what you call it? The peanut gallery comment while I was watching this was like, shouldn't they test the soil first? And it was like, yeah, that's a good point.
For most of the episode, it felt like most of it was the farming montage and them riding trains, which are now called clickety-clack ship, or no, called clackety ships. That's what she called them. Oh, that's funny. Steven carried a very large amount of, I think it was soil. They just had like an absurd amount of stuff that he was carrying. I was just like, Steven got strong for this montage.
Oh no, what you call it? We've seen it in the past that Steven has like super strength in some sort of way.
But it's just like, this is something he doesn't activate often. Like, I was taken aback. I was just like, Steven, you need to punch more people.
Oh yeah, what you call it? I distinctly remember in a past episode, what you call it? Like Steven was lifting up something, and Greg was just like, "When could you do that?"
Now I'm gonna make you go back and watch it.
Good gosh.
Find all the episodes. Watch them all. Tell me what episode it is.
Jeez.
If you find it, put it here. If you don't put anything here.
Yeah. But I distinctly remember the super strength being a thing mentioned in past episodes.
My other thoughts, just for this one, because again it felt very montage heavy. The soundtrack for the gardening montage felt very much Animal Crossing inspired. And I know Rebecca Shipker's a fan. So it's just like, it felt like that and Harvest Moon.
Yeah. Avivi and I can't remember, like the duo who does the music for this show do a good job on a lot of instrumentals, and they incorporate a lot of themes from things they like and stuff.
It was very atmospheric. It was wonderful.
Yes.
Also, I wrote those flowers are going to be dead. So I didn't have faith in this project from the beginning.
And it felt like that was the point they were going to go for. Like it was too riding high for way too long for it not to be a thing of like, yeah, we're happy that we did this, and then just like, oh, it didn't work out.
Yeah. And it turned out the Rebecca flower was actually a monster.
One we haven't seen in freaking a lot of episodes.
Yeah. My thought was, oh crap, call Cuphead, because it looked like one of the vegetable trio.
Like, it's been a minute since we've seen like a gym monster.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw it was Jasper.
Yeah.
And she was like recruiting them, and I don't know why I want to call it Hoth from Star Wars, but the time where it's weirdly snowing and then not snowing anymore. They visited Hoth, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
So the monster shows up, and it's actually really quickly beaten by Smoky Quartz, who doesn't speak because it costs too much money to hire Nicki Minaj again. Even if she isn't the voice actress. Yeah. Anytime Fusion shows up, she gets royalties.
I want to imagine just like friggin' Nicki Minaj just looking up anytime like Steven Universe Fusion Speed and Electron. I feel like I should be getting paid right now.
Not everyone's Sugalite.
Oh gosh. But yeah, inconvenience of hiring guest stars as voices for Fusions.
Well, anyway, Silent Cartoons Monkey Quartz takes out the monster.
Yeah.
And Peridot has a self-realization and feeling subtext, and at this point it just felt like too much, and I kind of gave up on writing my note and just said, okay, too much self-aware about own feelings subtext, which is something I've also noticed in cartoons lately. I think this is Rick and Morty inspired, or at least that's the first instance I'm aware of it, where people are doing something bad or problematic, but then explain the psychology of why they're problematic, but continue to do it anyway. Like, yes, I know that I'm doing this podcast, and it seems like obsessive behavior to control a series I have no control over, but it makes me happy because I feel inadequate, okay? Like, that kind of thing. And that's what this felt like. Because we already got this realization in the last episode.
Well, it's a concept that's been explored. What you call it? My favorite line from the anime, Barrels of Marn, is a exchange between the main villain and the protagonist, and the protagonist is like all throughout the series labeled as the worst because he's destructive. He what you call it, has problems stopping like villains and things all throughout the series, and the villain just asks like, why do you continue to do this? And then the hero goes, because it makes me feel cool, right? And I just like it so much because it's like a part of doing good things, whether you like it or not, is just like you feel good by doing good things. You feel good by making other people's happy. So the same could be said about some of your bad habits, of like how what do you call it, you can kind of like go into self-deprecation jokes because what you call it, if you can laugh them off, they feel more nonsensical and such rather than like just things that are detrimental to yourself when they actually come up. Yeah.
I agree with all those points. I just locked eyes with a baby photo of Jonathan from across the room. Is there any way to put that up on the screen?
I'll scan it.
Yeah.
All my family photos and yeah, okay, I'll write it.
It's just a picture. For those of you that can't see it in audio, it's a picture of a bald-headed baby Jonathan in a red button-up shirt with a big smile, clearly not looking at the camera. Oh, I agree with all of your deep points about self-deprecation and how it feels like if we make fun of ourselves first, no one else can. But that just got my attention. Oh, man. I want copies of that.
I'm pretty sure that's from me from elementary school.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it so much.
Gosh. But, yeah, that's what I want to say about that. It's not entirely a new concept, but it's not a concept that's explored pretty well because we often go like, hey, you're doing the wrong thing. But if you can learn about doing the right thing, you'll feel a lot better and you'll be able to improve yourself. And you feel like you learned a lesson when it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah. I feel like it's also a technique in these 20-minute shows to save time on character development by making them already aware of the faults but choosing to do things in spite of it.
Yeah.
I give this episode a 2.5 out of 10. Or out of 10. Man, I really hated this episode.
Did you write out of 10?
I wrote 2.5 out of 10.
Oh, jeez.
The other ones are out of 5. And I proofread these notes too, so I must have meant it.
Good gosh.
Okay, too much self-aware about own feelings subtext. 2.5 out of 10. I guess I got sick of it after 4 episodes.
I gotta. I spent run these while I was awake, so yeah, it wasn't too bad for me. It was okay, but it wasn't like too much. I felt like it was necessary to clear Peridot's feelings, but what do you call it? It's an episode just for that.
If Gemcation felt like it was longer, this felt way short. This felt like a 5-minute episode.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
So, I've got my final thoughts out. You got anything?
Oh, that's it. I said my final things about it. Country music instrumentals.
That felt like it was out of the YouTube library.
Yeah. Royalty-free country instrumental.
Well, Jonathan, you know what you say next?
Something about the bits.
I'm excited for this next one. I like Sadie Killer a lot.
Sadie
Killer.
Sadie Killer.
The perfect Halloween episode coming to you at the beginning of November.
Yeah. You're right.
So, Steven goes and wants to check up on
Sadie.
poor little Sadie. And
Yeah.
she's real sad because her boyfriend in space.
Indeed.
And
She has to work both jobs and with half her sanity.
can we agree now not to get in too hard into sad minimum wage talk on this one?
She call it. I can say really quick though. It's depressing.
Oh, feel free to chime in, but I don't want to get sucked into the vortex and feel sad.
We're not. We'll touch on it later.
So, Steven comes in ordering donuts, checking on Sadie, and it turns out he's getting donuts for band practice.
Yep. And a whole bunch of napkins.
Yeah. Also, what the heck is a powdered donut with sugar on the side? I don't understand how you put powdered sugar on the side of a donut. Where would it go in the box?
Do you call? I guess they put in those little to-go cups, like those little like condiment cups that.
Why are you dipping a donut though? Just eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you don't want it on your fingers, but even then, when you dip it, you're gonna get something on there.
Yeah. Do you call it? I feel like you can. Like, so it doesn't like just smear across the box. You can just like powder it yourself.
Yeah, but then on the side specifically like implies that you want to be able to like apply your own powdered sugar.
Yeah.
But it's in like little cups. And it's powdered sugar, so it's like it's gonna fall in a clump. Unless you sit there and like meticulously sprinkle it on there. At which point you've pretty much just made more of a mess than you would have if you just had a donut in the box.
You never said Steven was a bright character.
You ever get so stuck on a throwaway line that you forget about the rest of the episode? Because I gotta check my notes.
Oh.
So, he's with the cool kids. We had a cool kids episode.
Yeah.
And...
What you call it? There wasn't enough Buck Dewey, what do you call it? Isms.
Will you read my next note on the top there? Just first line.
What you call it? Wait, more encouraging.
The very top above that.
Okay, why is Buck Dewey Jaden Smith?
Because in this episode, like he's just saying stuff. Why is Buck Dewey Jaden Smith for an episode?
Gosh,
I don't know why he's just like. Usually Buck's so cool and like supportive. This one he's just saying random stuff, like weird pseudo deep stuff. So anyway, they go down. And realize they have no place to practice, and they have a show coming up. Because Buck Dewey decided to book a show when they didn't have a set or a song or a musical style. And so they find out that they can go to Sadie's And they try it out there.
This felt very sitcom plotty.
Yeah, a little bit.
I put us on the talent show list. Yeah, for the big prize money. We all have to find big talent that we can put on for a show. And then the characters are just like, okay, yeah, I'd totally love to be in a talent show. Let's figure out something. Just like, no one actually plans out things like that.
This is true. So, they're all sitting in Sadie's room, and they end up finding her secret stash of Lars and Sadie date night movies, horror movies. And they all decide to just sit and watch it, rather than work on the thing they need to be working on.
Yeah.
Because Deus Ex Machina will deliver all problems. So they're listening to the horror music and they realize, that's our sound. And they start playing.
And then we can do this.
And then they realize we need some deep and profound vocals. And then Sadie starts singing. To which I started singing, Musical Sadie.
Yes.
And then it went dark. And I wrote, Dark Musical Sadie.
Gosh.
And she sings the song, We Are the Working Dead.
Indeed.
Which I love.
I thought it was cheesy.
It was so good, though.
Gosh.
It was such, like, super cheesy Halloween music. It's like Monster Mash.
And I don't like Monster Mash, so that's where the divide
This is why we're not friends in real life off the channel.
Good gosh.
Because you have different taste in music than I do. Because cheesy Halloween songs are the best.
I didn't just hand you a giant folder of music like 2 years ago.
I have no memory of this event. So anyway,
Yeah.
the cool kids are super supportive of Sadie's singing. Because the cool kids are supportive and cool.
Yeah.
And then the song is too relatable and it hurts me.
Yes. So the Working Dead song is very, very close to home for the Working Dead.
If you've ever had a job, or you have a job now, and you feel a little bit sad, this is the song for you. And it's the next great song to hit the top of the charts no matter what Jonathan says.
No. Well, as you call it, I won't say that people's differing opinions may boost it up.
Yeah. One weird thing that I saw during the Working Dead song, at the end where she's eating the donut, and it does like her silhouette, she looks like Lars. Like it just looks like a silhouette of Lars.
Maybe. Yeah, interesting.
Go ahead, put it up. Everybody take a look at that. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Like it's just Lars. It's not even like it's Sadie dressed. It's Lars. I think that's bizarre. And then Sadie's sad because she wants to perform with the cool kids and be able to have fun again and mourn Lars appropriately, but she can't because she's always working.
She quits.
Well, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay, gosh.
But she's sad. The cool kids try to go on without her. And Steven has to be the new scary one. Steven's not very good at being scary.
You're too cute for your own good.
So he goes to Sadie for help and she gives him devastating tips. Like, just super sad. And super, like, Sadie clearly hates her life.
Yeah. And I think this can be interpreted in two ways. Just like Steven being his own old kiddish self, or just like trying to bait Sadie into realizing she's meant for this.
Yeah. So anyway, the night of the show comes out, and Steven, they go to get him, and he's wearing a navy blue blazer. And Buck Dewey, it's just like, is that the scariest jacket you could find? Steven's like, yeah. Which means at some point, Buck had to give Steven the directions to go find a scary jacket.
Yeah.
Those words had to leave Buck Dewey's lips. Like, Steven, before the show, you gotta go find a scary jacket. What?
Yeah, because Sadie had the scary biker jacket.
Right, but just the fact that when he says, is this the scariest jacket you could find, like, he specifically had to just say, go find a scary jacket.
Yeah.
Like, not, like, go find a jacket like Sadie's, not go find one that fits our vibe, but just go find a jacket that incites fear in people.
Good gosh. Business.
Oh my gosh, that's a deep, sad moment that business is the scariest thing in the episode about The Working Dead.
Yeah?
Ooh, Steven's got layers.
Good gosh. But...
And then
Also,
I just wrote that Buck needs to move to Neo Yokio. So I'm still riding that Jaden Smith train apparently because it was like 3 a.m.
Yeah, what'd you call it? Friggin'... I want to remember the line of what you call it. I think it was... You can stop being cute as much as I can stop being cool.
Yeah, then Sadie, as they're driving away, Sadie catches them. It's like, I can do the show. I can do all the shows. I can do everything. And they're just like, what about your job? And it turns out, Sadie quit. And next Stephen Bond, we're going to be dealing with the donut recession that hits Beach City when there's no one working at the Big Donut. And it turns out Mayor Dewey was right all along.
Yeah.
This segment brought to you by the Ad Council of Re-Election of Mayor Dewey.
Mayor Dewey's gonna get re-elected off the donut shop. Or Mayor Dewey's just gonna work donut shop now.
Ooh, that'd be a good place for him.
Yeah.
He said he'd get a new donut boy. Mayor Dewey upheld one promise.
Donut Dewey.
Ooh, Donut Dewey. The mayor of donuts.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Nice seed plant universe. Crudiverse. Nice.
You heard it here first. Mayor Dewey replacing Lars and Sadie at the Big Donut.
It has to happen.
We're calling it. These are the theories.
Yes. You heard it here first.
We are the Working Dead.
Gosh. But, final thoughts.
My favorite episode so far. That's Steven Baum. I think it's just anytime you put Sadie and the cool kids on screen, because it felt, again, very Night in the Woodsy.
Oh, yeah.
The game, for anybody that didn't watch our last episode. Just overall, it was like... I don't know the trope for it, but it's a trope I love of just, like, fall time fun with friends.
I think it's feeling of suburbia for me, or just small town.
Yeah, like a fall in suburbia thing. Because, like, one of my favorite episodes of regular show when it was running is the episode where they explore the abandoned zoo. And it's just them all hanging out, having fun. There's no driving force. I think it was a gorilla attacked. I don't remember. I think it was a gorilla. Regular show is weird.
Yeah.
It did not get the send-off it deserved.
What you call it? Friggin' did you see the last episode?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was unceremoniously pressed between 2 episodes of Teen Titans Go.
Ah. That is a sad send-off.
Yeah. I was big in the regular show. Regular show in space, the whole thing.
I only caught the last scene, and I thought it was pretty heavy.
Yeah. It was heavy. Spoiler alert for regular show, and I'm going to do actual spoiler alert because this is a CN-related property. I'm going to give you just a second to like plug your ears or whatever. I'm going to say it in 3, 2, 1. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Pops is straight up dead. It's messed up.
Yep. And his dad dies too later.
Well, he was old.
Yeah.
Like, Pops sacrificed himself for everybody.
Threw himself in the sun.
Yeah. That poor man from La La Land. Man, I hope they had Indication come back. So anyway, I give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Jonathan.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty okay episode. Would you call it? I wish they had a bit more dialogue between the cool kids. But what'd you call it? It was good.
I want more Sadie Killer so bad. More of everything that has to do with the Sadie Killer. Love it so much.
I like cool kids conversations usually whenever they're there, and I like Sadie's interaction with the cool kids because she's just like they're so cool and they're just like we're just trying to just hang out.
Yeah. Quick, Jonathan, I've been converted to an audio format and I don't know where I am. Where am I?
The bits.
Excellent. I'm gonna end up on the floor again.
Okay.
So why were you laughing?
Just because it was just straight like like yeah. And that topic. So it was here's my score.
Oh yeah, from one point to another.
Yeah.
Alright. So, going on to what is this episode called? Kevin Party.
Oh yes. Kevin Party.
So the final episode of the Stephen Bomb was called Kevin Party.
Oh jeez. I got a joke for you after the podcast.
I'm concerned. Alright. I will say that every time Kevin did something I did not like in this episode,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote, "Go away, Kevin," in my notes. Please tell them about the plot while I silently count to myself.
Okay. So, Kevin drives up while Steven's still sad about Connie, and he goes like, "Hey, so Connie's coming to my party and stuff," and he goes like, "What?" Just like, "Yeah, I told her you were coming, so come to my party." And what'd you call it? So, yeah, they both have a like back and forth of just like, no, we're not friends or anything. Just like, wait, you and Connie aren't friends right now. That's the only reason I invited both of you. You gotta get back together. Here's an invitation. Hand me your cell phone. I'm gonna give you my number. Whatever. And just, it's the most awkward exchange of just like, we don't like each other, but I need you to do the cool thing I like.
Which was?
Turn into Stefani.
Because every time Stefani's around, the coolest stuff happens. Also, the answer's 22 Go Home Kevins. One variation, Go Home Steven, to make 23, and Go Drown Kevin was 24.
Gosh.
Also, in slight other variation, Go Get Your Jacket Back, Derek.
Yeah.
So, when the episode started up, my first thought was, ugh, I hate Kevin. Fine. Yeah. Then I had 2 Go Home Kevins. And then I noticed Kevin uses proper pronouns for Stefani. He said they. I was like, oh, cool. Kevin used proper pronouns. But on the other hand, Go Home Kevin.
You got it. I like the what do you call it? Steven Universe's universe comment on it, which was Kevin's not as garbage as a person as he could be.
I thought it was just a thing that Kevin straight up just didn't know.
Fair.
Then when he said, hey, I invited Connie to my party, I thought he was lying. So I wrote, Kevin's lying. Go home, Kevin. Followed by another, go home, Kevin. And then I liked, subtle reference, well, not so subtle, where after Steven puts his name in Kevin's phone, Kevin looks at it and goes, your name is Steven? I thought it was Clarence.
Gosh.
As he watching this podcast after the fact, Clarence is a show barely currently running on Cartoon Network.
Is it still running?
I think so. And Steven and Clarence have a similar body type. So
Yeah.
it was mean, but a good reference. Then we got to the party, and Connie got a haircut, and it looked cute. But then Kevin said, I am going to help you get Connie back
Yeah.
by being a jerk.
Yep.
And he's going to teach you how to be a jerk. And so I told Kevin to leave his own party. Then I said, 3 go home, Kevins, as we entered a montage of Steven acting like Kevin and being a jerk and trying to pretend he didn't need Connie.
Also, Clarence is definitely still running. It has new episodes.
Oh, good for Clarence. I like Clarence.
Yeah.
All things behind the scenes aside. Anyway, then I wrote Kevin is an idiot. I don't know why. Let's just say for everything.
Yeah. Oh, what you call it? It was very much, what you call it? Yeah, act like you're a jerk, so you can get by. You don't need her, and she'll love you for it.
Can we talk about, like, just for a minute, like a good minute, the look Connie gave Steven when she saw him for the first time?
Yeah. What you call it? Freaking that scene's super good.
That hit me. That took me back and had me feeling feelings I hadn't felt in years. Of just like middle school, like 7th grade, like feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like that hurt.
Yeah.
That was so well done.
What do you call it? Friggin' the look over and then like the background goes black for both of them.
Like, straight up, that felt like real life. Like, I was suddenly back in a moment where it felt like the background went black and things zoomed and just the wide eyes. Oh my gosh, that scene was good.
Yeah.
It hurt me, but it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Man, like, bravo for putting that scene together, because that, like, you don't even have to, like, have a situation like that where you stop talking to a friend or, in Kevin's case, girlfriend or whatever, to just, like, you feel that moment.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has had something like that or knows that feeling. And they portrayed it so well.
Indeed.
Bravo. I stand up, but you can't talk because this is an audio podcast. Also, I'm lying. I'm still lying down.
You dropped the piece of like lint.
Yeah, it's from this blanket I'm sitting on.
Oh yeah, that has like very long strands of fabric and everything.
But yeah, that hurt.
Yeah.
And then Steven acting like a jerk hurt because the feeling was attached. And it all hurt more, and it was real sad. And then Kevin said a weird thing. That his whole drive for life was that he wanted to have the last thing people said as they died, and to whisper to their grandkids that Kevin threw the best parties.
Yeah.
And when things aren't going Kevin's way, he throws a tantrum, and he says the line that I hope will one day be etched on his grave. I need those old people to whisper my name when they die.
Good gosh. I like his outburst when Steve and Connie made up and everything. Just like, you guys having fun with this party? Yeah, you're all liars.
Calling out everyone. Kevin sucks as a human being.
Yeah, exactly. It's good in that moment just because it doubles down on its just like, yeah, everyone's actually enjoying his party. It's like, no, you're not. You're all liars.
We talked about how Kevin beat up Derek for his jacket.
Yeah.
But then again, Derek was also the guy sitting in the hot tub. So was he just sitting in the hot tub with his jacket on?
See, I always thought Derek was the guy like just off screen.
They addressed him as the hot tub guy's Derek later in the episode.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, the peer pressure happens super hard to Steven because Kevin keeps pushing him and stuff. And that's not cool. Don't push people like Kevin. Like, let people either come together or don't separately.
Yeah.
As somebody that's been having people push him into relationships his whole life, that never ever go anywhere because I don't subject myself to that kind of peer pressure. And neither should you, young, impressionable listeners at home.
Yes.
Take the advice of a stranger on the internet and don't succumb to peer pressure. Do not form relationships because other people want you to. That's for when you're older and networking.
Indeed.
For now, make sure that your friends are people you genuinely enjoy. And if you do decide to enter a one-on-one relationship with somebody, make sure it's because you want to. Not because anyone tells you you should.
Good point. Good point. Very valuable lesson.
Indeed. But the episode kept going.
Mm.
And Steven succumbs to peer pressure. And everything gets sad. And the montage feels too real of him trying to impress Connie and just nobody caring. I put in 3 more go home Kevins. Then told Kevin to go home because he's a friendless loser.
Yeah. Comment from the peanut gallery for this episode. What'd you call it? Hey, is he going to have a redemption arc like the guy from Stranger Things? And I go, no. Kevin would need a whole lot more to get a redemption arc on Steven Universe.
There's a Kevin bomb. I quit the podcast. Just know that. If we ever get a Kevin redemption arc in a Steven bomb, like there's ever a Steven bomb dedicated to it, I'm done.
Kevin bomb, yeah.
If there's ever a Kevin bomb, I am done.
Good gosh. No, you can't save Kevin. He's no. His whole reason behind actually wanting to get Connie and Steven back together is disgusting, and you know.
Yeah. Kevin's just disgusting in general.
Yeah.
So, Steven finally tries to talk to Connie, and he's trying to be super cool about it. And it sucks. And it's painful.
Yeah.
And you just know that he's hurting his friend. And then Connie gets upset. And that's real sad.
Yeah.
And then they both end up just, like, falling apart. And emotionally, like, exposing everything and gushing to each other.
Yeah. What you call it? Steven tries to play it cool, like what you call it? Kevin told him to, and then Connie's just like, but it's not cool. Everything that's happened for the past few days hasn't been cool. We need to talk.
And then I wrote out, and this is all in caps. Again, this was at 3 a.m. Yes, talk about your feelings. Bring back the self-aware and way too introspective self-reflection. Do not let Connie and Steven end up like these sad losers from Beach City. Oh crap, I just got the impact of the last 6 episodes all in sequence together. Also, Connie just got way shorter than she was 2 seconds ago. This is so touching.
Again, you can write a book. But, yeah, what you call it? Actually, the full explanation of everything, like, made sense. And just, like, pouring out of her, and then finally Steven, like, snapping out of it, just, like, going, like, yeah, I can't do this. I have to be myself and actually be vulnerable in the situation.
And the best part was that the whole Steven bomb actually connected. Because each way that a character processed their emotions was Steven seeing a different option for how he could go through his problem with Connie and get through what was being faced and understand her better.
Yeah.
And so he ended up using everything that he saw throughout the other 5 episodes to fix his problem with his friend.
Yeah.
And I love that. If we get more Steven bombs like this, where they all actually connect organically and well, and Steven silently learns a lesson with maybe without even realizing it, I am totally on board.
Yeah. And also, good form of apology. You should always address that you understand the thing that you did wrong, and what exactly happened, and what you should have done and said. You shouldn't just go like, I'm sorry, and just go like, yeah, that's a good apology. Like, no, you have to acknowledge why you're sorry, why they're feeling sad, and what you call it, say what you're going to do about it.
Then Kevin gets creepy again, is trying to force him to fuse. Lion saves the day.
Yeah.
And then they leave.
But
I follow. Oh, go ahead.
But before that, I like the comment of Stephen makes it. It's just like I feel like Kevin's been hurt before.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
Kevin's left alone emotionally. He's got a bunch of people around.
Yeah.
Just screaming. Just like, come back here and fix my party. Derek needs to get his jacket back. That bothered me.
Yeah.
Derek doesn't get his jacket back. Give Derek justice. Give Derek his jacket. Hashtag justice jacket for Derek.
Indeed.
Somebody tweet that. I won't. I don't use Twitter anymore.
No. That's,
Tweet that at me.
gosh. Are you talking to me? Tweet that at you?
I want someone to tweet it at me.
Okay.
Oh gosh, what's my Twitter? It's either at same old Samold or at Samold. I think it's same old Samold.
What you call it? I'll put it on screen.
I don't even know, man. Somebody tweet hashtag jacket justice for Derek for me. Let's get that started. That'd be funny. Anyone who tweets that gets a shout out. That's the rule. And it made me mad. Derek gets the star wipe of the episode. Don't give... Or not Derek, Kevin. Don't give Kevin the star wipe. He's a jerk. He don't deserve the end star zoom thingy.
Indeed.
So Jonathan, anything else before final thoughts?
No. I just like that line from Steven.
Alright, my final thoughts. And again, this was at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
This whole episode sucked except for the Connie and Steven conversation that made me far too emotional. This episode has tapped into feelings that I haven't felt in years of rejection and confusion, and dang, that was good writing. 5 out of 5.
You got
There's no punctuation in that.
Wonderful.
And it's all in caps. I was getting tired, guys.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I like the framing of some of the things in this episode. I think it was like, you gotta be cool kid, but not actually cool. Be a jerk. The show that you're insensitive being and ladies will love you, but not actually. Type of episode. But
Terrible lesson.
yes, but what do you call it? I like the conclusion of it, and I feel like it makes it.
Agreed. My final thought, this episode served well as an example of not letting other people shape you or tell you that you have to be okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something, like an undertone we've been working with a lot with the Stephen Baum. Lapis was able to tell Peridot, I'm not okay. I can't just be okay because you want me to be okay. Steven, even though his friends were trying to help him at the cabin, or at the ranch rather, he still wasn't okay, and he had to deal with his problem. And he wasn't going to just tell them, like, hey, this is my problem outright, because he was invested in the problem.
And embarreled.
Embarreled. When Peridot tried to garden, because that's what Amethyst and Steven said she should, it didn't make her feel better. It was just something to do. And it just kind of goes to show that you really can't define your emotional state by the needs of others.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you become a hollow version of yourself. Your emotions are valid, your emotions matter, and never let someone tell you how you have to feel.
Exactly.
Because that person does not have your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
I'm getting sentimental, y'all.
And, yeah. Like, it is... I thought it was very, very, good that the conclusion of the episode is just, like... The thing that bridges them together is just, like, they're both being vulnerable to each other, and they're able to, like, make up upon that.
Absolutely. It was a very natural, organic kind of back together. Nothing was magically fixed. An outside force didn't bring them back together. They didn't have to fight a monster and put aside their differences.
Yeah.
They just talked.
Exactly.
And they were real. And sometimes in life you have to do that because the only monsters are the people that try to tell you that you're not allowed to feel things. And those monsters sometimes just aren't worth fighting.
Indeed. It'll probably be a million years before we see another gym monster.
Jasper will come back. It'll be fun. So, overall, concluding thoughts on the Stephen Bomb. Jonathan, would you like to start us off?
Okay. I like it as a whole. What you call it? It has dips for me. What you call it? I feel like some episodes feel a little like too short, and what you call it? The whole thing feels kind of compressed as a whole. But altogether, it feels really good to have a good plot string throughout the episode. And just it makes sense for them to be put together, unlike other times where it's just like we gotta spread out some character development for this character and this character and this character. Let's see how much time we can take to do that. While this one was just like, hey, this event affected everyone, mainly Stephen and Connie, and we're going to explore that, and everything will come together to make Steven realize what he did exactly wrong.
I feel like this episode, or this series of episodes rather, had more depth than we've seen in a very long time for Stephen Bombs.
Oh yeah.
I think not since the motel episode have I felt like the characters have been really developed, and not since the first Stephen Bomb have I felt like the episodes were so interwoven that they couldn't be presented for the first time in any other format than together. They could stand alone really well, which is something that we've missed from a lot of them in the past, and I admit some have been lesser than others. We had a 2.5 out of all of our groups being the lowest score for me. And some of the episodes did fall a little less than the others, but I feel like we got far more positive than negative in the Stephen Bomb, and that overall the lessons and discussion that can be had made the bad far, far, far outweighed by the good.
Oh yeah.
And that even the fact that we can sit here and dissect the moral, which is something we've never done, just shows how much thematic attention went into the Stephen Bomb's composition.
And I think all my gripes could just be explained as just like, hey, working on a cartoon is hard. And what you call it, sometimes you don't have resources or the time to do like longer form episodes. And what you call it, for what they had time and money for was good.
Totally agree. Overall, it felt very rewarding. It felt like a payoff of building up for a long time. And there's some of it that I know is going to reappear in the series, and I know that there's a lot of it I want to revisit. Like, I'm going to rewatch Sadie Killer. That's probably one of my favorite episodes of the series now. And I know I'm going to go back and watch Kevin Party selectively and just skip the Kevin parts if it's altogether possible. But I feel like I got some of my favorite Steven Universe moments that we've seen in a while. I definitely got a favorite one of my favorite episodes out of it. So, all in all, I think this is the best Steven Bomb we've had in a very long time. What do you know? 8 is the magic number.
Indeed. So, yeah. What you call it? I forgot how we usually end these.
Well, we've got a little bit deeper on this one. You guys got a longer one because it was 6 episodes. I think we're hitting like the 2-hour mark or real close to it.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to do, guys, is go ahead and call it for this episode of The Bits, a Steven Universe podcast. Be sure to like the video if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to Something About Geek Stuff for all your nerdy needs. If you're on iTunes, that means we finally got it on iTunes. So give us our appropriate amount of stars rating. Leave a comment. Those are super cool. When we start getting a couple more comments coming in, we're going to start reading them on the show like we do on In a Town Called Duckburg.
Yeah.
Our DuckTales podcast you can also check out. Other podcasts on the channel, Thieves Palace Podcast, Persona. It's on a bit of a pause at the moment, but it's got some good episodes behind it, so check those out.
You saw that text great.
That'll be fine. But overall, I'm still liking the Steven Universe. I look forward to talking to it with you guys next time. Thanks for listening. I've been Sam.
And I've been Jonathan.
Check us out on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, wherever you're at. And from Homeworld to Beach City and all the cosmos in between, this has been The Bits, the Steven Universe podcast. Thanks for watching. Hashtag Jacket Justice for Derek.